Most people think sleep is just shutting down for the night. But the truth? It's the most powerful thing you can do for your brain and body. Sleep boosts your memory, sharpens your focus, strengthens your immune system, balances your emotions, and even adds years to your life. In Why We Sleep, neuroscientist Matthew Walker shows us why missing out on it is far more dangerous than we realize, and how prioritizing it can completely change the way we live. This isn't about laziness. It's about unlocking a hidden superpower we all have, but most of us ignore. So, if you've been cutting corners on sleep, this book will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about rest. Part 1. This Thing Called Sleep. Chapter 1. To Sleep. Matthew Walker begins by reminding us of something so obvious, yet so ignored. Sleep is universal. Every animal studied, from insects to humans, needs sleep. Evolution is ruthless. It eliminates anything that wastes energy. So, if sleep has survived millions of years of natural selection, it must be doing something vital. Walker points out a puzzle. If sleep is so important, why do scientists still struggle to fully explain why we do it? He compares it to asking why we eat or why we breathe. It's that essential. But unlike hunger or thirst, we often override sleep with caffeine, alarms, and late-night scrolling. He sets the stage. Sleep isn't passive shut down. It's an active process, with your brain and body performing critical functions while you rest. Memory is being stitched together, emotions balanced, toxins washed away, and creativity sparked. Sleep, he says, is like a Swiss Army knife for health. It touches everything. Think of sleep as the world's most powerful therapist, trainer, and doctor rolled into one. Yet it's the first thing we cut when life gets busy. Chapter 2. Caffeine, Jet Lag, and Melatonin. Here Walker introduces the two key forces that govern sleep. Number 1. Sleep pressure, driven by adenosine, a chemical that builds up in your brain the longer you're awake. Number 2. Circadian rhythm, your internal body clock, roughly 24 hours, telling you when to feel alert or sleepy. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors. That's why you feel awake after coffee. Not because you've erased sleep pressure, but because you've numbed yourself to it. Once caffeine wears off, all that adenosine comes crashing back, leaving you with a caffeine crash. Jet lag messes with your circadian rhythm. Your body still thinks it's in the old time zone, leading to grogginess, poor concentration, and mood dips. Melatonin, often called the sleep hormone, doesn't put you to sleep directly. It simply signals to your body that it's time to prepare for sleep. Ever drink coffee late in the day, thinking you'll be fine, only to toss and turn at night? That's caffeine's half-life at work. It can linger in your system for 6 to 8 hours. Chapter 3. Defining and Generating Sleep. In 1952, researchers studying a baby's brain discovered something shocking. Sleep isn't just one state. The baby's brain was cycling through periods of deep, slow-wave sleep and bursts of rapid brain activity, what we now call REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Walker explains the two broad types of sleep. NREM, non-rapid eye movement, deep, restorative sleep that clears toxins and solidifies factual memories. REM, rapid eye movement, dream sleep, essential for creativity, emotional healing, and linking new ideas together. Sleep cycles through these stages in 90-minute loops. At the beginning of the night, you get more deep NREM sleep. Toward morning, you get longer REM periods. That's why waking up too early cuts off your dream-rich sleep. It's like a nightly dance between two partners, NREM and REM. Skip one, and you throw the whole performance off. Chapter 4. 8 Beds, Dinosaurs, and Napping with Half a Brain. Who sleeps? How do they sleep? And how much? The answers are as diverse as life itself. Some animals, like dolphins and certain birds, literally sleep with half their brain at a time. One hemisphere rests while the other stays alert to predators. Humans, interestingly, are among the few species who deliberately create beds to optimize sleep. Walker even notes how apes carefully make leafy beds in trees for deeper, safer rest. Sleep has evolved uniquely for each species' survival. But when it comes to how much, humans need about 7 to 9 hours. The myth that some people thrive on 4 or 5 hours. Walker dismantles it. Chronic short sleep is linked to higher risk of heart disease, diabetes, dementia, depression, and even accidents. If you brag about needing only 5 hours of sleep, it's like bragging you can function on 50% of your phone battery all day. Sure, it works, for a while, until it doesn't. Chapter 5. Changes in sleep across the lifespan. Sleep isn't the same from cradle to grave. Babies spend much of their early life in REM, which fuels brain development and learning. Teenagers experience a natural shift in circadian rhythm. They're wired to fall asleep later and wake up later. That's why early school start times are biologically unfair. Adults settle into the 7 to 9 hour need, with balanced NREM and REM cycles. But as we age, two things happen. Sleep quality declines, especially deep NREM sleep. Sleep becomes more fragmented, more nighttime awakenings. This isn't just inconvenience. It affects memory, mood, and even longevity. Walker stresses that poor sleep in old age isn't just a symptom of aging. It may accelerate it. Imagine your brain as a house. When you're young, sleep is like a full cleaning service every night. As you get older, the cleaners still show up, but they start skipping rooms. Here's the part 1 takeaway. Sleep isn't a passive luxury. It's an active, essential process running on powerful biological rhythms. It changes throughout life, but no matter your age, it remains the foundation of memory, creativity, mood, and health. Cutting it short is cutting short your potential. Part 2. Why should you sleep? Chapter 6. Your mother and Shakespeare knew. The benefits of sleep for the brain. You've probably heard phrases like sleep on it, or let me sleep before I decide. Turns out, Shakespeare wasn't being poetic when he called sleep the chief nourisher in life's feast. He was scientifically right, centuries before science proved it. Matthew Walker shows how sleep, especially NREM deep sleep, acts like a save button for your memory. When you learn something during the day, it's fragile, like writing with chalk on a board. Deep sleep at night comes in and rewrites it in permanent ink. Without it, memories fade. Then comes REM sleep, dreaming. REM doesn't just store information. It links it together, weaving new connections and insights. This is why great ideas often come after a good night's rest. Think of REM as the brain's creativity workshop. Sleep also plays therapist. During REM, the brain reprocesses emotional experiences, stripping away the sharp edges of pain while preserving the lesson. That's why people often feel a little better after sleeping on something distressing. Remember those times you went to bed stressed, then woke up feeling lighter? That's REM quietly doing emotional first aid while you dreamed. Chapter 7. Too extreme for the Guinness Book of World Records. Sleep deprivation and the brain. Here Matthew Walker introduces one of the most disturbing truths. Going without sleep makes us less human. He describes Randy Gardner, a high school student who, in 1964, stayed awake for 11 days straight as part of a science fair project. His speech slurred, his memory collapsed, paranoia kicked in. He was unraveling. This record was so dangerous that the Guinness Book of World Records has since banned longest time without sleep from its entries. When the brain is sleep-deprived, the effects are immediate. Memory tanks. You can't concentrate or recall information. Creativity vanishes. The brain loses its ability to connect ideas. Emotional stability collapses. The amygdala, your brain's fear center, goes haywire without the calming influence of sleep. Most dangerously, microsleeps, brief, uncontrollable moments of sleep lasting just seconds, start to happen. Behind the wheel, even a few seconds of microsleep can be fatal. Running on little sleep is like handing your brain's steering wheel to a drunk driver. You may think you're in control, but your brain is seconds away from blacking out. Chapter 8. Cancer, heart attacks, and a shorter life. Sleep deprivation and the body. If Chapter 7 showed how sleep loss destroys the brain, this chapter reveals the body-wide destruction. Walker doesn't sugarcoat it. Lack of sleep is a slow form of self-destruction. Some of the findings he shares are: Number 1. Cancer. The World Health Organization has classified night shift work as a probable carcinogen because chronic sleep disruption increases cancer risk. Number 2. Heart attacks. Losing just 1 hour of sleep when daylight savings begins correlates with a 24% spike in heart attacks the next day. Gaining an hour and fall. Heart attacks drop by 21%. Number 3. Immune system. Just one night of 4 to 5 hours sleep can lower natural killer cells, the ones that fight cancer, by up to 70%. Number 4. Metabolism. Sleep-deprived people are more likely to gain weight, develop diabetes, and suffer from hormonal imbalances that increase cravings. Matthew Walker's message is brutal but clear. Sleep deprivation is not just about being tired. It shortens your lifespan. Skipping sleep isn't pulling an all-nighter. It's more like pulling the rug out from under your own health, quietly, night after night. Here's the part 2 takeaway. Sleep is the foundation of brain and body health. With it, you gain memory, creativity, emotional balance, and longevity. Without it, you invite disease, accidents, and a shorter life. Sleep isn't negotiable, it's survival. Now we're at one of the most fascinating parts of why we sleep, dreaming. This is where Matthew Walker takes something we all experience every night and reveals it's not random nonsense, but one of the most powerful, mysterious tools our brain has. Here's part 3, How and Why We Dream. Chapter 9, Routinely Psychotic. REM Sleep Dreaming. Matthew Walker begins with a bold claim. When you dream, you are regularly and routinely psychotic. Think about it. During REM sleep, number 1, you see things that aren't there, hallucinations. Number 2, you believe the impossible, delusions. Number 3, your emotions are heightened and often irrational. Number 4, your memory is bizarrely distorted. If someone behaved like that in waking life, we'd call them insane. Yet every night, in REM sleep, we all enter this state, and it's vital. During REM, the brain is wildly active. Your visual and emotional centers light up, while rational control centers dim down. This allows free-flowing, vivid dreams, unbound by logic. Importantly, your body is paralyzed during REM, so you don't act out these psychotic experiences. That crazy dream you had where you were late for an exam in a place you've never seen, wearing pajamas? That's your nightly brush with psychosis. Except it's healing you, not hurting you. Chapter 10, Dreaming as Overnight Therapy. Matthew Walker calls dreams our brain's emotional first aid. During REM sleep, stress-related chemicals like noradrenaline shut off. This unique neurochemical environment lets the brain revisit emotional experiences in a safe, calm state. Painful memories are reactivated, but without the full sting of the original emotions. Over time, dreams strip away the sharpness of pain, leaving behind the wisdom of the lesson. This is why time and sleep heals emotional wounds. It's also why trauma survivors often have disturbed REM sleep. They're unable to process their experiences fully. Ever go to bed heartbroken or angry, only to wake up the next morning with the pain softened? That's REM sleep gently sanding down the edges of emotional pain. Chapter 11, Dream Creativity and Dream Control. Dreaming doesn't just heal, it creates. REM sleep helps the brain connect unrelated ideas, sparking creativity. This is why solutions to problems often appear out of nowhere after a night's rest. History is full of breakthroughs born in dreams. Paul McCartney's song Yesterday, Dmitri Mendeleev's periodic table, even scientific discoveries. Dreams also allow virtual reality simulations. The brain tests out scenarios, practicing for challenges, solving problems, or exploring new combinations of thought. Matthew Walker also touches on lucid dreaming, when you realize you're dreaming and sometimes control it. Though rare, it shows how flexible the dreaming brain can be. Think of REM sleep as your brain's midnight theater, replaying memories, remixing ideas, and rehearsing possibilities, all while you lie still. And here's the part 3 takeaway. Dreaming is not random nonsense. It's a nightly dose of psychosis that serves a purpose, healing your emotions, sparking creativity, and rehearsing life itself. Skip REM, and you skip some of the deepest parts of what makes us human. Part 4, From Sleeping Pills to Society Transformed. Chapter 12, Things that Go Bump in the Night. Sleep Disorders and Death Caused by No Sleep. When most people think of not sleeping, they picture a groggy morning or needing an extra cup of coffee. But in this chapter, Matthew Walker reveals the darker side of sleeplessness, real medical conditions where the absence of sleep can literally kill. He begins with insomnia, a condition many casually throw around. But in reality, it's not just tossing and turning a couple of nights. Chronic insomnia rewires the brain, leaving people unable to switch off their racing thoughts night after night. Then, there's sleep apnea, where the body stops breathing for brief moments during the night, starving the brain of oxygen. It's not just loud snoring. It's a silent assault on the heart, raising the risk of heart disease and stroke. But perhaps the most haunting disorder he talks about is fatal familial insomnia. It's incredibly rare, genetic, and horrifying. People with this disease lose the ability to sleep entirely, and within months, their body breaks down and they die. It's one of those reminders of just how vital sleep is. Without it, life simply cannot be sustained. Matthew Walker drives home the point. Sleep is not optional. It's not a luxury. It's a biological necessity as critical as food and water. And when it goes missing, whether through disorders or deprivation, the cost can be deadly. Chapter 13. iPads, Factory Whistles, and Nightcaps. What's stopping you from sleeping? If Chapter 12 was about sleep disappearing because of disorders, Chapter 13 is about how modern life itself has become the thief of our rest. Matthew Walker invites us to think about the world we live in. Glowing iPads on our nightstands, buzzing phones under our pillows, Netflix's next episode button daring us to stay awake. Technology has extended daylight far beyond the sun's setting. Our ancestors lived by the rhythm of sunrise and sunset, but now, artificial light tricks our brains into thinking it's still daytime, suppressing melatonin and delaying the natural onset of sleep. But it's not just screens. The Industrial Revolution changed more than just machines. It changed how and when people slept. Factory whistles, rigid work schedules, and shift work forced people out of sync with their body clocks. A night shift worker, Matthew Walker explains, is basically living in a constant state of jet lag. Their body wants to sleep, but society demands wakefulness, and the health consequences pile up. Higher risks of obesity, diabetes, cancer, and depression. And then there's the so-called helpers people turn to, alcohol and caffeine. A nightcap may make you feel drowsy, but alcohol actually fragments your sleep, robbing you of the deep, restorative stages. Coffee, on the other hand, lingers in your system much longer than you realize, blocking adenosine, the chemical that builds sleep pressure. Even that 4 p.m. cup can still be active at midnight, quietly sabotaging your rest. This chapter is Matthew Walker's gentle wake-up call. Our modern habits, our gadgets, even our drinks are silently conspiring against the most natural thing we're designed to do, sleep. Chapter 14. Hurting and helping your sleep. Pills versus therapy. If Chapter 13 showed how modern life steals sleep, Chapter 14 explores what people do to claw it back and why those methods often backfire. Sleeping pills might seem like the simplest solution. Pop one, drift off, and all is well. But Matthew Walker reveals the darker truth. Most sleeping pills don't produce natural sleep. Instead, they sedate the brain, creating a state that looks nothing like restorative sleep. You may lose consciousness, but your brain misses out on the deep and REM stages critical for memory, learning, and cellular repair. Worse still, long-term use of these pills increases the risk of dependency, tolerance, and even higher mortality rates. But if pills are hurting, what's helping? Matthew Walker champions a gold standard alternative, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI. Unlike pills, CBTI doesn't knock you out. It retrains your brain and body to rediscover their natural rhythm. By changing habits, adjusting pre-sleep behaviors, and reprogramming the mental associations around bedtime, CBTI restores the ability to fall asleep and stay asleep naturally. It's not a quick fix. Pills promise an immediate knockout, while CBTI requires patience and consistency. But Walker makes it clear, one is a chemical illusion, the other is a genuine path back to natural rest. Chapter 15. Sleep and Society. What Medicine and Education Are Doing Wrong. What Google and NASA are doing right. Here the book zooms out. Sleep isn't just an individual issue, it's a societal one. And Matthew Walker argues, we've built entire systems that ignore or even punish the need for sleep. Take medicine. Doctors, who are supposed to guard health, often train on brutal schedules, 30-hour shifts, nights with no rest. Walker shares the sobering truth. Sleep-deprived doctors make significantly more mistakes, and the consequences can be fatal. The very system designed to heal people is quietly endangering them by ignoring the science of sleep. Education isn't much better. Teenagers, biologically wired to fall asleep later and wake up later, are forced into absurdly early school start times. This isn't just a nuisance, it's a health crisis. Sleep-deprived students show impaired learning, memory, emotional regulation, and even physical growth. Walker doesn't mince words. By robbing students of sleep, we are robbing them of their potential. But there are glimmers of hope. Some forward-thinking organizations, like Google, offer nap pods and flexible schedules, recognizing that rested employees are more creative and productive. NASA, too, has taken sleep seriously, designing strict sleep protocols for astronauts to protect performance in space. These examples show what's possible when society aligns with biology instead of fighting it. Chapter 16. A New Vision for Sleep in the 21st Century. This chapter feels like Matthew Walker's manifesto. After dismantling myths, exposing dangers, and showing what's wrong, he offers a vision of what could be right. Imagine a society where school starts later, workplaces respect circadian rhythms, hospitals protect doctors' sleep, and technology is designed with biology in mind instead of against it. Imagine homes built with lighting that mimics the natural shifts of daylight and night. Imagine a culture where sleeping 8 hours is seen not as laziness, but as wisdom, the very foundation of health, creativity, and humanity itself. Matthew Walker insists that this isn't a luxury dream. It's a necessity. Without change, the cost will be paid in health, productivity, and even lives. With change, though, we could unlock not only longer life, but also better life. Now for the Part 4 takeaway. Sleep disorders show us what happens when sleep is broken. Modern life constantly sabotages rest with screens, stress, and culture. But with the right choices, both personal and societal, we can reclaim sleep as a superpower that transforms health, creativity, and longevity. Conclusion: to sleep or not to sleep. The book closes with a choice. Matthew Walker puts it bluntly: every night, you make a decision. You can cheat sleep, shaving off hours to get more done, but the price is steep: poorer health, weaker memory, shorter life. Or you can choose to honor it, to reclaim it as the most natural, restorative act you can give yourself. In the end, the science is clear. To sleep or not to sleep is truly the question. But unlike Hamlet, we know the answer. Sleep is not a waste of time. Sleep is time well spent. The single most effective thing you can do for your brain, your body, and your future. Appendix: 12 Tips for Healthy Sleep. Matthew Walker ends his book with something very practical. Not theory, not warnings, but a toolkit. After pages of science and stories, he knows people will ask, okay, what do I actually do tonight to sleep better? And so, he offers 12 simple but powerful tips. The heart of these tips is consistency. Matthew Walker makes it clear, your brain and body thrive on rhythm. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, is like tuning your internal clock. Break the rhythm, and your body feels the jet lag. Keep it steady, and sleep becomes effortless. Then comes the environment. He paints the bedroom as a sanctuary, cool, dark, and gadget-free. Darkness tells your body it's time to release melatonin, the sleep hormone. A cooler room temperature helps your core body cool down, which is essential for drifting into slumber. And by removing phones, TVs, and other glowing distractions, you protect your brain from being tricked into thinking it's still daytime. Matthew Walker also urges us to respect the chemistry of sleep. Caffeine and nicotine, they're stimulants, pulling the brakes on your ability to fall asleep. Alcohol might feel like it helps, but it's deceptive. It fragments sleep, blocks REM, and robs you of restoration. And heavy meals or too much liquid late at night. those turn into midnight interruptions. He also emphasizes winding down, creating a pre-sleep ritual. Much like children need bedtime stories, adults benefit from a gentle routine that signals the brain it's time to slow down. Reading a physical book, taking a warm bath, stretching lightly, or simply dimming the lights an hour before bed, all of this tells the body that sleep is near. And for those who lie awake tossing and turning, he offers a counterintuitive but brilliant piece of advice. Don't stay in bed awake. Doing so only trains the brain to associate the bed with frustration. Instead, get up, move to a dimly lit space, and do something calm until drowsiness naturally returns. That way, the bed remains a symbol of rest, not restlessness. Finally, he reminds us that exercise is a friend to sleep, but only if timed well. Regular physical activity improves sleep quality, but doing it too close to bedtime revs up the system. Better to move in the morning or afternoon, giving the body time to unwind by night. Altogether, these 12 tips aren't hacks or shortcuts. They're a way of restoring respect for sleep, aligning daily choices with the biological truth our bodies never forgot. In a world full of stimulants, screens, and late-night obligations, these practices act as anchors, bringing us back to nature's rhythm. And that brings us to the end of Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this journey, it's that sleep is not just rest, it's life itself. It's where our brains heal, our bodies repair, and our dreams quietly reshape the way we see the world. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Has this book changed the way you think about your own sleep? Do you feel inspired to protect those precious hours a little more fiercely? Share your thoughts down in the comments. I really enjoy reading what you take away from these books. If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more deep dives into books that can genuinely transform the way we live. And if you know someone who desperately needs a reminder to get some real sleep, maybe share this video with them. It might just change their life. Until next time, take care of your mind, your body, and yes, get some good sleep tonight. Sweet dreams, and I'll see you in the next one.